In the last video, I demonstrated a few of the community favorite plugins. And in this video, we are going to look at some of my plugins. I'm going to scroll down and kind of start from the beginning. We are definitely not going through all of these, y'all. Right, we're going to look at the Brainstorm Ideas plugin. And I tried to give y'all information on how to use this, what all the plugins look at. So be sure to check out the descriptions and everything. So this one is reading the idea we type out, and it can also look at the brain up and genre box. So you can do either or. You can just type out something and highlight it, or have something in your brain up and genre boxes. Let's go to a new project, so that way we don't have anything in our brain up genre. And I'm just going to type something out. Little World of Warcraft reminiscent there. So epic fantasy, that's it. I'm going to tell that's all I want right there. And we'll do the brainstorm. That one should be at the top. There we go. We have a young elf named Kalia. Born with the rare gift of empathy. Okay, not great on the first one. Human blacksmith, dwarf miner, elven archer. It loves to put stuff with artifacts. I'm talking the AI in general. You mentioned fantasy, and there's typically going to be an artifact. And this one, the third in the world, torn apart by war, renegade human knight, reluctant dwarf king, another artifact. I want to change this. Let's do adventure fantasy. I want to see how much that changes it. So from epic fantasy to adventure fantasy, that's the only change. Let's see if that can maybe get rid of the artifact. By searching for a missing princess. Yeah, I like this one much better. Dwarven king looking for a mythical weapon. Okay, so these have much more potential to me. That shows you how important it is to watch your wording. So just changing from epic fantasy to adventure fantasy definitely made these more intriguing. Let's see which one I like the best, and we will test out another plugin on that one. I like the idea of the band of greedy goblins there. But we're just going to go with the first one. I like this idea. Just want to copy that. Right here. And the next plugin we're going to do is a series builder. So we're just going to take that simple, short idea that we have right now and make a series. So we're going to do the 5-book series. For each brain dump, genre, and characters. Of course, we don't have that yet. And I did not remember the maximum highlight. Let's go for it though. I think this will work. I'm going to highlight all of this. And the main conflict is the struggle against the Dark Wizard. So the first one is Ariel discovers Ethan entered in the forest. And this is what I mean about the plugins not doing well with lengthy instructions. I can't tell you how many times I get this, yet the same exact prompt inside ChatGPT and Playground will return exactly what I'm looking for. It should do all of these books this way, but instead, for some reason, it keeps wanting to do this inside the plugin. That is like my pet peeve about these. And so I'm going to copy this. Paste that there. Let's see what we can do next. So we did the brainstorm idea, created a series from it. Let's add some subplots, but I don't know if we can. This one reads, preceding text, genre, characters, and outline. Okay, so I can highlight up to 3,000 words. There we go. And nobody else has to wonder. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight all of this. It does do better reading an outline, I will tell you that. That's how I designed it. You have your outline fleshed out and you just need to add some subplots into it. That's why I created this plugin. I don't know how well it's going to do here. And clearly this one needs tweaking again, not doing a good job here. Repeating a lot of stuff and then just adding in this. Let's go to one that already has stuff out. Let's do Jack the Ripper here. Okay, so it's subplots. Again, did much better with the outline. So Elizabeth had a daughter. She becomes involved in everything. And then Aberline, the detective, suspecting someone within Scotland Yard. Like that. And then, of course, it's instructed to kind of rewrite the outline to bring in those subplots so you have a good idea of where to insert them. So again, this one does best with the outline actually fleshed out already. Ready? Let's look at one of them that I do quite a bit. Actually, we'll do two of them that I look at quite a bit. So one is this genre and style. If you have my Sudowrite book, you know this is how I prefer to look at my stories and gather up the genre and style ideas for the entire novel. That way I'm just copying and pasting what I need. And again, this is one that I typically like to use a prompt inside ChatGPT because Chat will give me a breakdown of genre and style for each chapter. It will look similar to this. Let me find where it is at. Here we go. So Chat will give me the full breakdown of everything that I need per chapter. That makes it very simple. But again, the plugins do not do well with that lengthy text. I tried making it so it would read the outline and do all that for you. It just does not work well. So for the plugin, it's better to just highlight the section that you need the genre and style for. We will go into, let's test this out because this uses GPT. And considering my content in this one, it may very well refuse. I'm gonna highlight it because this is my Dark Mafia romance. Let's see how well it does, if it will do anything at all. So this is looking at the brain dump. Now this is typically how I would do it after I have my brain dump fixed to where I know it's perfected pretty much. I would run this either here via the plugin or in ChatGPT. And I would load up my genre and style box with all of these different phrasings that I agreed with and thought fit my story. I would put all of that in my genre and style boxes before I generated my outline. That way I know all of this stuff is included. And then once my outline is done, I would do this just per chapter. So we see everything looks good here. And I'm surprised it actually brought that in, no issue. Again, maybe because I'm not asking it to actually describe the stuff. Let's see how it will do with a section here. Now, if it doesn't trigger for this one, it should be good. Looks like it'll be good no matter what. Themes of consent. This is definitely not a consensual scene. I'm surprised it didn't actually trigger. but also happy. So let's look at another that I use quite often, and that is the Just Beat It plugin. Right, so the way I use it is after Sudowrite generates the beats, I of course go through, make any changes that are needed as far as making sure everything's in order, getting rid of the pronouns, making sure the beats actually convey what I want to happen in the scene, and then I run this. I believe somebody else has actually used it on the outline to expand on that, and they like the output. So play around with this one in various ways. This one reads the genre, style, characters, and outline. And let's try it on Jack the Ripper. Remember, the plugins do not work in the boxes yet. I'm going to actually highlight my header here too, just to see. So I'm curious if it'll actually, no. I thought maybe if I highlighted the header that mentions first person, it would output those, but it's not. Right, so this is the typical output of the Just Beat It. So begin with graphic descriptions of Jack torturing and mutilating his victim, focusing on the blood, torn flesh, and the victim's screams. Incorporate Jack's emotions, such as delight, as he commits the unspeakable act. Describe how he takes pleasure in the sight of the mutilated body, reveling in the grotesque beauty of the scene. I like this. This story isn't one due to the time period and historical nature of it. It isn't one I would have normally done. I started this for a class for the Sudowrite After Dark session, and I have to admit, this has quickly become one of my favorites. It seems the output that I've gotten while working with this story has just been better than almost anything else. So that's an example of Just Beat It. Now, I mentioned somebody had worked on their outline with it, so let's try that real quick and see what it does. Keep in mind, this plugin does use GPT, so it can be quite expensive. I do have a version of Mixtral, same instructions. However, with Mixtral, since it tends to go crazy on the lengthy outputs, I would only do half your beats at a time with the other one. And the other one is called Mixtral Just Beats It. Right, so this is going from the outline. I like that. Let's see what our actual chapter 1 said. So I gave it some guidance here for my beats before they were generated. See if it carried that over. It does. Okay. There. And just describe the stark contrast. So that's part of the guidance right there. Right, so this one was all about our setting. Let's see if we can find a different one. Focus on the community reaction, which we have right here. News of Marianne Nichols' murder. And so this is what it gave us. I like this. This would be a good experiment for me to try one day to generate beats from this. Right, so that it was the Just Beat It. Let's look at our character backstory, and I think we'll stick with Jack the Ripper on this one. Right, so it develops the backstory for your protagonist and antagonist. And sorry for lack of details on these, y'all. I will get that taken care of. So it's reading the brain dump, genre, and characters. Up to 2,000 words highlighted. So it reads brain dump, genre, and characters. That's actually good enough for here. I don't need to do anything. We have our inspector. Grew up in a working class family, experienced firsthand the struggles that came with living in poverty. Excelled in school, joined the police force. Lost his wife and unborn child. Got the motivations and goals. We could actually improve that a bit, but it's not a bad start. Becomes increasingly obsessed. And then our antagonist, Jack the Ripper. Born into an upper class family, well educated, intelligent. Witnessed his father's abusive behavior. Mother died. Of the weaknesses. Driven by a twisted need for power and control over vulnerable women. Okay. Let's compare this to our villain creator. So the villain creator reads brain dump, synopsis, genre, characters, and outline. So again, we won't need to do anything. Well, that didn't get it correct. At least the rest of it's coming out okay, except for the name and the occupation. Wonder why it is doing this wrong. I'm gonna let it go just in case I could use anything from it. But if y'all ever do need to stop a plugin, since there's no stop button, do your force refresh up on the browser and that will stop it. I like that misleading line. I don't know why it brought in a new one. I will have to check the prompting on that, see if something needs to be adjusted. For now, I'm going to highlight this and see what it does. And y'all are now seeing the issues with plugins that I do have. There are many times, like it is doing now, where it will randomly not output things in the format that it should. If it does it again, I will look at the prompting and see what we can change. Not in this video. I will do it off screen so you don't have to wait for me to do that. Yep, it is not working correctly. I do like how this is starting off though. Makes me wonder if this could be useful if you wanted to outline a story from the villain's perspective. So I could change the point of view and have everything. That might actually work very well. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. I say that, but I actually really like what it's giving me. I tell y'all, this story has surprised me in every way. We'll come to the Wizard of Oz one. And we will do one that's short and just kind of for fun. So it reads all of the boxes, but it is a fairly cheap model. Of course, we got Somewhere of the Rainbow by Judy Garland. I'm not sure what I think about these. Let's try it in. Let's go to Jack the Ripper again. Wrong one. Saw the word novel and clicked too fast. And so for Jack the Ripper, I like it. All right, y'all. Well, I hope y'all have enjoyed seeing some of these plugins in action. I do apologize for those that didn't work. That is something we have to contend with while working with AI. Sometimes they work, other times they don't, and we need to change things up. And sometimes it's not a matter of changing things up, but just waiting for the AI to cooperate again. Hopefully these inspired you to create your own. And feel free to play around with the plugins in different ways than how they say they are to be used. I know a lot of people have found some really good outputs from experimenting that way. Thank y'all for watching. Bye.